This court, unfortunately, has to see many cases where vulnerable people are exploited by others. I wish it was not so prevalent. However, this needs to stop. So you're not new to this, and yet you exploited this helpless woman who was the victim in this case?
Please don't.
The court is going to order you to serve 58 days more, starting immediately.
Oh, please don't do this.
Ms. Turpin, you are an incredibly poor risk.
I've never done this to anybody
don't
before.
Talk over me. Don't talk over me. You're not going to cry your way out of it.
I got my grandkids outside.
Are you done, Ms. Turpin, so that I can complete your sentencing? 2024 and each subsequent month.
Please.
This entitled Karen landed herself in court after scamming and stealing thousands of dollars from a vulnerable elderly woman. And honestly, it's almost impossible to feel bad for her. She's not just a scammer, she's a straight-up terrible person. The way she carries herself in court is unbelievable. Instead of owning up, she tries to spin excuse after excuse, tossing out nonsense arguments while the judge shuts her down one by one. It spirals into a full-blown courtroom meltdown, and when the sentence finally drops, yeah, it's absolutely brutal and completely deserved. But here's the real question. Do you think the justice system should go even harder on scammers like this, especially when they prey on the elderly? Or was this sentence enough? Drop your thoughts down in the comments, and let's dive in to watch this entitled Karen get absolutely stunned by the judge's massive sentence.
Ms. Turpin, you were late to your sentencing?
I was in the other building. I didn't know which building to go to, and I ended up in the other building. That's why I was late.
All right. I don't think there's been court held in that building for 21 years.
I've never been to court here, ever. I had no idea.
This matter comes before the court at this time for sentencing. Docket notes from June 18th indicate that the defendant pled guilty to count 3, computer crime, a level 8 felony. A pre-sentence report was ordered, sentencing originally set for August the 12th, subsequently rescheduled to today's date. This court has received an updated pre-sentence report compiled by Ryan Smith, pre-sentence investigator, who is part of this meeting. I trust each attorney has received the updated report, and I'll ask the state's attorney first. Is there any objection to the criminal history as stated in the report?
I did receive the update, Your Honor, and no objection.
Any objection to criminal history by the defense here, Mr. Watts? Mr. Watts? You're muted.
Your Honor, no objection to the criminal history score.
Court will adopt the criminal history as stated in the report and finds that the criminal history score applicable to today's sentencing is criminal history score H, and the court will proceed further accordingly. Ms. Norris, do you know of any legal reason why sentence should not be pronounced in the Turpin case here this afternoon?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Watts, are you aware of any such legal reason?
No, sir.
Ms. Turpin, are you aware of a legal reason or any other good reason why the court shouldn't proceed further with your sentencing?
No, sir.
We'll proceed further then. Counsel, I'm not aware that there's been a motion for a departure sentence or any other sentencing related motion to take up. Does the state have any such motions to pursue?
No, Your Honor.
Does the defense, Mr. Watts?
No, sir.
Very well. Are there any victims or members of a victim's family who desires to address the court in relation to this sentencing? Who is Deborah's iPhone? Or Jacqueline Green?
Your Honor, Jacqueline Green is the victim witness coordinator in the office.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And there's no family members with her?
Not that I'm aware of. And Your Honor, I'm not sure who Deborah's iPhone is.
Is there someone whose screen name is Deborah's iPhone who wishes to address the court in relation to this Turpin sentencing? I would just like to have a yes or a no.
No, I do not need to address. This is Deborah, victim's daughter.
Okay. Did you wish to address the court?
No, thank you.
All right. Thank you. At this time, then, the court will ask for recommendations from counsel regarding an appropriate sentence for Ms. Turpin, beginning with Amber Norris on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, state would be recommending for the felony crime of computer crime. The court follow the presumption and assign defendant to 9 months in the Department of Corrections. Defendant would be able to earn 20% good time credit and would be subject to 12 months post-release. Defendant has earned 2 days of jail time credit.
From there, things moved into the sentencing. Turpin had already pled guilty to computer crime, a level 8 felony, for scamming a helpless elderly woman. Both the prosecution and defense confirmed the criminal history report was accurate, and the judge prepared to move forward. Even the victim's daughter was logged in, but she didn't bother to speak. Honestly, the case spoke for itself. Then came the state's recommendation: 9 months in the Department of Corrections, with 20% good time credit and 12 months of post-release supervision. Pretty standard for this level of felony. But here's where it gets wild: Turpin's reaction. Based on her face, you'd think the prosecutor had just recommended giving her a Lifetime Achievement Award instead of jail time. She came in acting like she was the victim, crying before the judge even said a single word. Like, "Ma'am, this isn't a TikTok apology video. Tears and fake regret don't erase the fact that you scammed someone who couldn't defend themselves." And that's the thing, when you steal from the vulnerable, no judge cares about your sob story. They care about restitution, accountability, and real consequences.
And, Your Honor, this is a presumptive probation matter based on the crime and defendant's criminal history. So I asked the court to assign her to 18 months community corrections probation with all standard and PSI recommended probation conditions, including a drug evaluation, no contact, and Your Honor, this is a community corrections case, so the court will need to assess standard probation and costs of the case, but then also the community corrections fee. There is restitution in the amount of $1,305.44. Some of that goes to the victim's family and some of it goes to the bank. We'll make sure that the dollar amounts are specifically set out in the journal entry. Mr. Watts is appointed, so the court will need to address court-appointed attorney's fees and the bid's application fee. And, Your Honor, I don't think I have any further recommendations for the court at this time.
Very well, Ms. Norris. Mr. Watts, your recommendations regarding an appropriate sentence?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we join the state's recommendation. They are in keeping with the plea agreement. I believe we join the recommendation of the mitigated 9 months with the post-release and probation durations and good time credits as noted. We likewise have no objection to the restitution that is set out in the PSI. I don't know that I have a whole lot else to add, Your Honor. Thank you.
Your fees and the representation of this client?
This is billed at $1,000 to bids.
Thank you. At this time, the court will address the defendant, Patricia Turpin, personally and ask her if she has any statements that she wishes to make in mitigation of punishment or anything further that she would like to present to the court. Ms. Turpin?
I just want to apologize to the victim's daughter. I'm very sorry for what I did, and
Okay.
I really just want to say sorry to her.
Wow, guys. I think I just shed a tear from that deeply moving apology from this entitled Karen. Except, maybe actually saying sorry for what you did would have helped instead of whispering it like it's the secret password to escape jail time. She really tried to soft-launch remorse over Zoom, like we didn't just watch her bicker with the judge about being late 10 minutes earlier. Pixelated tears and a shaky voice aren't a magic undo button for felony fraud. Honestly, that apology didn't save her. If anything, it just gave the judge even more reason to deliver the digital smackdown.
Right. Any other statements for the court, Ms. Turpin?
No.
Very well. Court will pronounce sentence in this case at this time. Court hereby establishes count 3 as the base sentence in the case for the offense of computer crime, a severity level 8, non-drug, non-person felony, in which the defendant has a criminal history score of H, thus placing her in grid box 8H. Court hereby sentences the defendant to a term of 9 months in the custody of the Secretary of Corrections, the state of Kansas. On this sentence, the defendant may earn up to 20% of good time credit and would be subject to 12 months of post-release supervision. No fine is imposed on that count. Court does note that in grid box 8H, this would be a presumptive probation case under Kansas law. There does not appear to be a special rule application here or a motion for departure to disturb that presumption. And the court will grant the defendant 18 months of initial probation term to be supervised by community corrections. Community corrections supervision is deemed appropriate due to the high risk score on the risk needs assessment that was conducted in this case. Conditions of that probation will be to report to an officer as directed, observe all laws, obtain a substance abuse evaluation within 45 days of today's date, and abide by the recommendations of that evaluation. She shall not possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs while on probation. At her ISO's request and at her own expense, submit to random breath, blood, and urinalysis testing, perform any community service work pursuant to any program requirements, gain and maintain employment successfully throughout her probationary term, notify her ISO of any change in employment status, residence, telephone number, or email address within 48 hours of any such change happening, have no contact with the victim in this case or members of the victim's immediate family. She shall submit her DNA to the KBI databank and be responsible for the $200 cost of the test, abide by any curfew or travel restrictions imposed by her officer, follow all standard conditions of probation, not have in her possession firearms or dangerous weapons, and avoid disreputable characters and places. The defendant shall also make monthly payments on her obligations owed to the court, which would include a felony docket fee, felony probation fee, community corrections fee, the $200 DNA fee, and a bids application fee of $100. Attorney fees are waived, as the court will also be ordering this defendant to pay $1,305.44 in restitution to the victims in the case, as their interest may appear. Ms. Turpin, there's one other order that the court wishes to consider in this case. This court, unfortunately, has to see many cases where vulnerable people are exploited by others. I wish it was not so prevalent. However, this needs to stop. You are not new to the court system. You have, I believe, 3 prior property crime offenses on your record. So you're not new to this, and yet you exploited this helpless woman who was the victim in this case. And the court does have discretion, despite the fact that the legislature has determined you're not a prison case, that the court can impose up to 60 days in the county jail as a condition of probation. And that's exactly what the court's going to do here, Ms. Turpin.
Please don't.
The court is going to order you to serve 58 days more because you've got 2 days of jail time credit against that sentence.
Can we schedule it?
Starting immediately.
Oh, please don't do this.
Ms. Turpin, you are an incredibly poor risk.
I've never done this to anybody
don't
before.
talk over me. Don't talk over me. You're an extremely poor risk to show up in jail on any type of schedule because you couldn't even make your sentencing on time today. Further, last time you were directed to appear at the Judicial Center and you didn't. Look, we're not going to talk over each other. I've made my ruling. You're not going to cry your way out of it.
Calm down. Please.
All right.
I got my grandkids outside.
I swear this idiot probably dragged her kids to court just so she could pull the old, but I have grandkids card, like it's some kind of legal cheat code. The whole performance feels like she binged one episode of Law & Order and decided she could improvise her way out of real consequences. Meanwhile, the victim's family has to sit there listening to her flip the script and act like she's the one being wronged. That's not a defense strategy, that's straight-up courtroom gaslighting. And the judge? He's not a casting director searching for the next emotionally unstable lead in a legal drama. None of this plays well under scrutiny. Legally speaking, it's a Hail Mary wrapped in delusion. She's not even explaining herself, just banking on a dramatic tone and some vague guilt to magically override reality.
Are you done, Ms. Turpin, so that I can complete your sentencing? Again, the court has announced 2 days of jail time credit. At some point in the future, Ms. Turpin, you may have the right to seek expungement of this offense. Certain statutory limitations do apply. If you have any question about your right to someday seek expungement, you can address those questions to a lawyer and I'm sure get your questions answered. Under certain limited circumstances, defendants have a right to appeal their conviction to an appellate court having jurisdiction. And if defendants are unable to pay the cost of an appeal, they may ask the court to appoint a lawyer to represent them on appeal and that they be supplied with a transcript of trial court proceedings. Pursuant to KSA 22-3608C, you, the defendant, have 14 days after this judgment in court to file any notice of appeal with the clerk of the District Court of Butler County, Kansas. You do have the right to appeal this sentence if the court has ruled adversely to you, the defendant, at this hearing. I will remind you that there's prohibitions against a convicted felon possessing a firearm, and that there are losses of certain civil rights, such as the right to vote, until your sentence is fully discharged. Ms. Norris, I wanted to ask you, of all of the financial assessments you were asking the court to impose, has the court covered all of those?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe so.
All right. Mr. Watts, is there anything further from the defense side that the court still needs to address?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. The court is going to order Patricia Turpin into the immediate custody of the Butler County Sheriff's Representative
Judge, please, my
until her custody can be transferred to the Butler County Jail to serve out 58 more days.
Please don't do.
And Judge, what month did you want the payments to start?
Yes, we do need to come back to that. In light of the fact that she's going to be incarcerated essentially through September and October, of course, not realistically going to expect her to make payments during those months. So the court will start her payment obligation as earlier announced for the calendar month of November of 2024 and each subsequent month
Please don't.
until her obligations are paid in full. All right. I think the sentencing proceeding is concluded at this point. Mr. Smith, thank you for your work on the case and your appearance here today, Ms. Taronis. Ms. Taronis, she's a little bit emotional right now. Do you still want to have a session with her?
Yeah, I'd like to try if I could, please, Your Honor.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and recess this proceeding. Ms. Turpin should stay. I'll just direct court security. She needs to make contact with her ISO so she knows what to do when she gets out of jail.
Please, Judge, please.
All right.
Let me schedule this jail time.
If
Please.
there's nothing further, the Turpin matter will be in recess at this time, and we can conclude the record and leave the Zoom meeting open for the ISO.
Let me know in the comments what you thought about this sentencing. Did the judge go too easy, or did he nail it? Personally, I think he served up a reality check colder than a frozen Zoom screen. Because let's be real, stealing from an elderly woman online isn't just a crime, it's full-on villain origin story material. You don't just accidentally wire yourself someone else's retirement fund. That takes planning, Karen. And just because you're a grandma doesn't mean you're automatically wise. Clearly, this one skipped the life lessons stage and went straight into Facebook scammer mode. No amount of fake tears, shaky Wi-Fi, or bad acting is erasing that. Oh yeah. Drop your thoughts below. Should scammers like this face even harsher time? And if you want more courtroom drama breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the